Recently, I've been finding myself being extremely unsatisfied with cameras. So my issue is I needed a camera that I could shoot great video and vlogs for you guys and still take great photos with it. Figured I'd buy the Fujifilm X-S10 and put it to the test to tell you guys whether or not it's worth going out of your way to purchase and the things that I do like and dislike about it. But before we can even figure out what I dislike and like about it, let's put it to the test of the 3 things that we love to do here on this channel. Let's hit the streets of Chicago and do some street photography. This is my first time ever using the Fujifilm X-S10 in this video to shoot street photography, which is a horrible idea because I have never even used the menu layout. The ISO dial is different, the shutter dial is different. Everything about this camera is different than the Fujifilm X-T2 and the X-T3 that I'm really comfortable with using. So one of my best friends, Uba, hit me up and said, hey man, could you take some portraits of me? I'm gonna be leaving the city soon. So I said, this is a perfect time to test the Fujifilm X-S10 in a situation where I can control the environment. I don't have to worry about people moving, about subjects changing, and we can just worry about taking some awesome shots with the Fujifilm X-S10 doing portrait photography. Favorite part about portrait photography is getting to learn and listen and talk to the people that I'm shooting with. And me and Upa, we haven't hung out in a while, man. But you know you have one of those friends where you haven't seen each other, but when you do, the vibe still feels like when you first met. It's just that natural connection that's there between you and friends. And me and him, we decided to talk about so many things, and these are one of the topics that we decided to talk about here today.
So what would you say is the biggest advantage you had this year? The biggest pro and the biggest con?
The biggest pro as in, I didn't start going to therapy this year, but it was towards the end of last year. So I'd probably say, therapy was the one thing that really, made my perspective a bit different. Kind of helped me fine-tune how I was feeling, fine-tune my emotions better and understand my emotions better. So I think, going to therapy and kind of, talking to my therapist once or twice a month tremendously, helped me to, figure out how I am, who I want to be. What set me back? It was probably that job that I was working, bro. Honestly, that shit was so not worth it.
Right.
It was just a sales job, and I had to call fucking 50 plus people a day, and that shit was just so draining. I think, and as optimistic as I tried to be through it, and as good as a company as it was, as it paid me, throughout the quarantine, damn near most of the time. That was great, and I got insurance and yada yada, but the actual experience and the position that I had was so pointless in a sense, where I was just this is a waste of time, I couldn't, I got to the point where I just couldn't even bear to be there, I couldn't even stand to fake, my happiness or fake the calls or fake, this shit. I was fucking sad and frustrated and annoyed with the position that I was in. So yeah, I feel like that kind of, creatively, I kind of just pushed me back because I just was kind of focused on that, and it just didn't allow me to kind of fully express myself, because this was like my focus that was weighing me down. But yeah, ever since I've been out of that, you know, shit's been like about 2-3 weeks now. 3 weeks actually. And yeah, it's like I feel just like way more free.
Right.
Like I feel like shit, I can like actually do shit that I want to do throughout the week or weekend, or like, you know, like I don't gotta report to like no bullshit. It was just a very great like feeling just to kind of be out of that officially. But during it was just like whack as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like whack as fuck. But it is what it is, you know? Like it did serve me some type of benefit, so I can't be too mad about it.
Now, after having this discussion, we figured we'd go back, just listen to some music and chill out. And while we were chilling, I figured, why not test the Fujifilm XS10's low light capabilities?
You like contrast. Pero tres. 3 times. Hey, hey, hey.
Tell your man that you'll be right back. I'll be asking questions.
Hey, we gon' light. Hey, hey, hey.
Yo, why is this actually vibey though?
I should make switch on. Ooh, I can't. And I saw.
Hey, 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 hey.
There's that song.
Hey, killing it, chilling it for more Wale. You know I'll be killing it like all day, every single day. Ooh, yeah. Feeling myself, ooh. Got the white hair, but it's kinda blonde. Who gives a damn? It still look good. Gold tooth in my mouth, it's so silver. Oh my God, looking like Belver, Bieber, Lieber, Believer. Got white shoes on my sneakers. Woo! Ow! Hey!
A rap session with Uber. I mean, what can you do? It's gonna happen. These moments I really do appreciate of portrait photography, and it doesn't really come out in people's YouTube videos, is the ability to just actually connect with another person. You know what I mean? And this is something that I really am happy about, shooting portraits with, you know, friends and things of that nature. So I figured, why not test out the IBIS on the Fujifilm XS10. But with the IBIS, it is recommended that the lowest shutter speed that you can do is the shutter speed half of that with the lens that you have on here with great handheld shots. So I figured, why not put this to the test? And we didn't use any other lights besides just the natural lights in this house. And here are some of the photos that we got. So a week later, I decided to head out west to Nebraska. I know, the video's coming soon. While heading towards Nebraska, it was getting darker, so I figured, why not test the Fujifilm XS10 in the form of photography that you guys know I love to do, and that is night photography. I'm gonna give you guys my first honest impressions about the Fujifilm XS10. And to be honest with you, I don't like this camera, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm keeping this camera. Biggest pro to this camera is that you have a mini X-T4 somewhere. You have to figure out how to use it on this camera. It's not just an X-T4 presented to you as an X-T4. It's an X-T4 presented to you with all of these weird little roundabout ways that you have to do to get to it. Perfect example as to what I mean by that is that, yes, you do have the X-Trans 4 sensor on here. Yes, you do have IBIS on here, but you don't have the Fujifilm classic X-T3, X-T4, X-T2 layout here. So with this new layout that they have done on the Fujifilm XS10, I cannot tell you how uncomfortable it is to shoot with this camera. And I don't mean uncomfortable with the grip, because everyone talks about the grip, everyone loves the grip, but the ISO button being right here and not being right here it's this camera pains me. And it doesn't pain me because the camera's bad. The camera is not bad. This camera is a great camera. I could love the images that I've taken with this Fujifilm XS10. The problem with this camera is that Fujifilm knew how to make a bad camera. They know how to make a bad camera now. Before, with the Fujifilm X-T2, X-T3, X Pro 2, they were just making the best camera they possibly could. And with that came a appreciation for their cameras, because at the time, they were being innovative. They were pushing the bar. But I feel with the Fujifilm XS10, I know this is supposed to be a vlogger-centric camera, but the things that really irritate me about this camera are just so glaringly obvious to anyone who's ever used a Fujifilm camera. Now, people say that this is a beginner camera, and I mean, I would agree with it, but within this camera, there's somewhere it serves a purpose for a lot of Fujifilm users who love to take video. I just think that there's so many more better improvements that they can make with the Fujifilm XS10. Like I've said before, keep the classic ISO dial, keep the classic shutter speed dial, use this one, stack. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys my honest first impressions about the Fujifilm XS10. And I gotta be honest with you, I kinda hate this camera. And the things that I like about this camera, I'm gonna talk about first. So the thing I like about this camera, and you're gonna think it's so dumb if you've never used it, but once you get one, you're gonna be like, this thing is awesome, is the freaking flippy screen. This thing is, if you've ever vlogged without a flippy screen and you get one, you cannot go back. I guarantee it. Another thing that I do like about this camera is the grip. People always talk about the grip and how comfortable it is. It is more comfortable than the X-T3 and the X-T4. I don't find it to be that significantly more comfortable to hold while shooting. I mean, it is fun to hold the camera like this, like, wow, you know, who cares? Another thing that I do like about this camera is that they made a dedicated recording button. Now, that may seem like it is annoying. The annoying thing about it is that while you're shooting in manual mode for photography, if you decide to record, it's not recording F-Log, it's recording in the settings that you're going to be shooting photography in. Yeah, another thing that I don't like about this camera is the wasted real estate all along this camera. See, look. So here's the X-T3, and here is the XS10. Hopefully you can see kind of what I mean. I don't know if that helps. The amount of wasted real estate really on this camera is unfortunate. Another thing that I don't like about this camera is there's an advanced purpose of this camera somewhere. Fujifilm just decided to present us with a basic camera. So another thing that I don't like about this camera is the ISO button being here and the ISO not being here. While shooting street photography, I could not even give you the amount of times where I felt extremely uncomfortable, not for taking the photo, but for my ability to actually take a good photo with it. Hence why you only saw 3 photos with the Fujifilm XS10 while shooting street photography. Yeah, I know it was my first time using it. I know that I wasn't comfortable shooting with it, but this camera is so difficult to actually get a comfortably good shot with. I know you are hearing what I'm saying, and that may sound a little bit more difficult, but trust me, once you use this camera, you'll know exactly what I mean. There's reasons you don't see people making Fujifilm XS10 videos unless it's a review, because this camera is so painfully annoying to use that if I'm not recording videos or vlogs for you guys, I will almost certainly never pick up this camera to shoot photography with. And that pains me because I love to shoot photography. And if you are someone who is more photocentric than videocentric, I would say stay away from the Fujifilm XS10. You will find out right away how much Fujifilm as a company has changed while using this camera. Another thing that annoys me about this camera, and you think this might be a small thing, but when using this in the field, it will irritate you. You will try to put your SD card in here, and 9 times out of 20, you will put it in and it will get stuck and it will fly out of this Fujifilm X-S10. Those are some things to keep in mind with the Fujifilm X-S10. I personally would never buy this camera if I didn't have another Fujifilm camera. Like, this should never be your main Fujifilm camera. So that is my first impressions and first thoughts on the Fujifilm X-S10. I kind of don't like it, but it works for what I need it to do. So thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's been a long ramble of sorts, but I wanted to give a great shout out to you guys for the amount of support that we've been getting on this channel. It's been like crazy, like just in the last couple months, like the amount of people who've been reaching out, whether it's Instagram or just like commenting, or people who have just been like, dude, I watched your video and it's like sick, bro. Like, that stuff matters to me, you know, and it makes me want to make more videos for you guys and make more photos and tell more of my stories and hear some of your stories. And that's why I want to really get this disposables project out as soon as I possibly can. Thank you guys for the amount of love and support that you've been giving this channel, and we're going to be giving it right back to you guys. So the disposable project is coming soon. If you don't know about it, hopefully the videos will still be on this channel. It's basically us sharing a point and shoot camera and telling your story through that camera. There's gonna be so much more on it coming soon after you see the first video of the project. But with that being said, it is your boy Wale. Avoid this camera, and I'll catch you later. Peace.